What's good? It's Brittany Sunshyne. Welcome to Flower and Fire, where we revelate, reflect, and remember to dig deep as we keep each other company along the way. And don't forget to believe in your daydreams. Let's dive in. A thief in the night came, took everything you gave for her. I choose to receive the consistency of flow state in divine identity, to reside in the state of eternal abundance, supply, purpose, wholeness, and divine love, now and forever. It is so. I choose to receive the consistency of flow state in divine identity, to reside in the state of eternal abundance, supply, purpose, wholeness, and divine love, now and forever. It is so. I have so many topics swirling in my mind. I just need to pick one. The one that I've been thinking about, and I was like, oh, I can't forget to talk about that, is the tree of good and evil, the trees of knowledge. Has anyone ever gotten that kind of mixed up? It's like, what the heck does that mean? What is it even freaking talking about? Okay, so it's the trees of knowledge, of having the knowledge of good and evil. And if you're like me, you ask questions about this stuff. It's like, wait, what? Wait, what? What's wrong with that? Why is that a bad thing? Why is having the knowledge of good and evil bad? And this throwback to that other episode where I mentioned Eve, and I'm like, wait a minute. This is not a story about some lady a long time ago. This is all of us. This is like the seasons of life that we go through, and each of us go through our own version of that whole experience. And I have to be honest, I was never mad at her that she was deceived. She was trying to be like God. It's weird how we all hate on her, or I've heard a lot of people being like, punking Eve out. And I'm thinking, why are we punking her out? She wanted to be like God. She loved God. And she was deceived into believing that going this way, doing this thing, is how you become like God, and how you, show your love and devotion for God. It feels oddly familiar to living in the confines of religion, ironically. And I don't mean to punk. Please, everybody, listen to all my disclaimers that I've given about this. Go track them down, because it's not that there's not, roots of truth in there. It's when it stops empowering and stops teaching and equipping people to apply the finished work. When it stops them at the middle of the story, where they're not living in the finished work, they're just looking at the finished work as if it's this thing that happened once, but they have no idea how to activate it and initiate it in their lives. That shit pisses me off, and it's gonna be a problem. I can't be a part of that, because there are people out here that are literally living far below the exceedingly abundantly that was intended for them, because they don't know better, and they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to activate it. They don't know how to receive it. There's too many blockages and too much deception. And so anyway, so with Eve, I'm not mad at her that she was like, yeah, I want that. I feel like I would have fallen for that same thing because I want that. I want to be like God. I love God. Like I want, like she experienced the amazing presence, the love, that warm devotion, that like stability and security that came with her being face to face with God. She's like, "Yeah, I want that." You know? So anyway, I'm not mad at her about that. And I forgive myself for being deceived into things I didn't freaking know because I'm innocent. I'll never forget the day I watched a Quasi Joe here video where he's like, yeah, you were tricked, but it's because you're innocent. And it like dropped me to my knees and I was sobbing because I don't know that anybody has ever told me I'm innocent. I'm used to hearing in religion that we're all bad, that we're sinners, and that He had to come for us because we're so bad. And it's not anything that we did, it's all because of what He did. And, don't you dare take credit for getting back up because, all that crap. So when he said, and I've all these years, I'm like, yeah, I freaking get it. I've made mistakes. I've lived according to the wrong like life narrative. Imagine like it's a game and you get the game rules in the booklet, and it's like this is the point of the game. This is how you play the game. This is what you're allowed to do in the game. So when you awaken to realize that the way that you've been living, it's like, oh, I shouldn't have been doing that. Like. Or that's not the best way to go about this. Or like, embarrassing things like emotional intelligence, where it's like you literally didn't know how to control yourself, like that's embarrassing. So anyway, it's like when you awaken and you realize that the narrative that you've been playing the game to, you've been given the wrong rule book, and it makes you feel and look really foolish. But we forgive ourselves for that, and we just move forward, and we trust that what's ahead of us is going to somehow miraculously bless what's behind us, and we just say it is so. But anyway, but the point is that there really is this concept of the knowledge of the trees of good and evil. It really does actually exist on this planet, like in this realm. There are things that the Creator doesn't want you to know about, like doesn't want you to ever live a life where you firsthand experience the knowledge of the evil. For example, my mom and I were just talking about this because of the personal experiences that I've had. And for some reason, dating, like almost every guy I dated had some sort of an addiction problem. And I have children now, and it is like, for my life, and this is me. I get to make my choices according to my life and timeline and vessel. So you don't have to take this personally if it offends you. It sounds like a personal problem, but it's something where I have decided and I've learned that I will not ever date somebody with addiction issues again, period. If you can't control your body and your own self, then nobody else can, and that is too much of a risk, something I am not willing to pay. My life and the purpose that's on this life, it's important, and also the stability for my children is important, and I refuse to continue putting it in the hands or in the same field, on the same team as people who can't get a hold of their own self. I cannot risk this on that. There are other timelines that are not wired in the same way, and so you all enjoy your time together and be blessed, be well, be free. But I'm going to be over here doing this. And this is one of those things for me and when I was talking to my mom, was like, that's one of those things of the tree of good and evil. Like, I don't want you to know how to order drugs. I don't want you to know where to find them. I don't want you to have any back experience about like getting in that camp. And not, well, okay, how do I say this? Because on the one hand, I'm thinking like, well, I've, played around in the past but I wouldn't really know how to go and I wouldn't know how to order them, like back in the day when we were kids and our like party drugs was a different level than being wrapped up kind of drugs. So that's what I mean. People that live that lifestyle know what they're doing, know how to ask for it, know how to find it. And that's that evil, like, it does not do any good for your life to be able to know how to do that. But then, natural segue, once you truly do opt into the divine DNA, like once you truly devote yourself to the light, like to, some people call it light worker. And in the Christian front, it would be like once you've received the Holy Spirit through the finished work of the cross, like that kind of thing. By the way, I think that a lot of people are receiving the Holy Spirit through the finished work of the cross and they don't know it. That's what I believe. I think there's a lot of people that don't know his name, but they know his spirit. I mean, what's more important? Because ironically, the majority of you Christians don't know his name either. So go look it up if you don't. But anyway, I digress. We wouldn't want to update that in the religion though, right? We wouldn't want to go to bothering to like update his name because that would cost how much in charges to like update things, It's only like God. He's only the God of the universe according to your belief system. But we wouldn't want to have to like go and like change our books and change our songs, and that would just be way too much hassle for the corporation. So we're just gonna pretend like it just doesn't really matter, and we're just gonna call him his nickname that they gave him over 500 years later. That also aligns with the word four-legged pig in the language of the time. So yeah. Anyway, that was a tangent and a half, but back to what we were talking about, the trees of the knowledge of good and evil. There's some things in this realm he just didn't really desire for us to experience. Like, things like abuse. We do not, I'm going to do everything in my freaking power to protect my children from ever having to experience anything like that. My goal as a parent is that they would live their whole life not experiencing that, because I want to protect them from that, because there's no need for that in this life when wounds just, set us back. But here's the cool thing is when you really truly devote your life into the hands of the Creator and you're like, listen, I'm here for the divine timeline. I'm here for purpose. Thank you so much. Let it be so. There's this way that the supernatural essence of the DNA, like of the spirit with a capital S, can interact with your timeline in a way where it causes things to become gold, even though it seems utterly impossible. And I sit here today saying this while also having my human experiences like looking at me going, oh, really? Oh, is that true? My human experience is like mocking my flow that's like sitting here stating this fact about how everything's just turned to gold once the Creator's essence breath is breathed upon it, because I'm very much in the middle of a story that I don't think looks like gold, and I'm pissed as hell about it, and I feel like I was misled and I don't like it. But anyway, I digress again. It's not always about me. I'm just here to bring the message. So that's why we can pay attention to things like to the characteristics that are listed as attributes of the DNA of the Creator, of the good. And you can even freaking model this against frequencies. You can go look at the list of frequencies and emotions, and which ones are the higher ones and which ones are the lower ones, and the lower ones, like, created pull and a deficit on our being, while gratitude and the abundance mindset and trust and surrender, like those are higher frequencies that cause that will energize our life, produce peace, create stability. Where pride, jealousy, anger, those negative ones will eat away at you, and toxic, like pollute your energy field and your very being. Like, we see this in play out in physical ways. Everyone's like, stress kills. It really does, because it's just constant stress hormones being circulated through your being, and it costs you. So anywho's, yeah, I think I'm gonna keep it. Should I keep it this short? Or should I keep going? So yeah, when it comes to one of the biggest things that I would convey to my younger self is like, avoid the experiences that cause you to like completely lose control of your vessel, of your body. Which, so ironically, like, drinking alcohol is totally socially acceptable and encouraged and promoted through music. Almost every country song talks about drinking, my drink, my drink. It's literal programming. Do you not? I hope you see that. I hope you see the messaging in the music, like, and the sound. That's it. We haven't even talked about like the frequencies that are in the music that are affecting us in subconscious ways that we don't even know. But even the words, they're not even trying to hide it. Like, the words are programming. And alcohol, is so hard on your body. It's a very low vibe. And I'm not just talking about like having a drink, whatever, no big deal, or even a couple, but I'm talking about like the binge drinking culture, the like live like it, like there's no tomorrow, and don't worry about, anything planning ahead. Just the culture crap is so bad. I don't have any money, but I'm going to go drinking anyway. Like, why? It's the last thing you should be doing. Unless it's your girlfriend's birthday, you should probably be working at home figuring out what your hustle plan is, because you got shit to do. Like, you got money to make and money to bring, and you should probably stay in your right mind for a little while you figure out your plan. It's just a totally weird culture that we live in of just very little self expectations, I guess, from the younger cultures. And trust me, I was in it. I firsthand remember like listening to the words, and then I'd go on my little spiritual evolution seasons, and then I would come back and hear the same song again, and I'm like, what? Like, it says that? Some of the stuff that they say in there, I'm like, I like blush when I hear it. I'm like, I can't even listen to this, but I love the beat, yo. We gotta bring back some dope hip hop that doesn't have such toxic lyrics and probably toxic vibes underneath. Vibrations, songs, frequencies, that's what I mean. So yeah, avoid the things that take you out, like shut down your awareness in your vessel, because you're gonna want to keep that on. and then otherwise, don't trust. Just question everything. Question the things. Not in this weird paranoid kind of way, but just because they wear a white coat doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. Just because it's on the TV does not mean it's the truth. And just because the man is on the stage with a Bible doesn't mean that he has the whole story. So, I know it's funny. I hear like I hear people's responses when I speak, so it's funny. I heard right there, like, oh, you think the Bible isn't the whole story? Like, that's not what I meant. What I meant was, there are some people that just haven't allowed themselves to receive full revelation, or they're maybe not there yet. I mean, who's there yet? None of us, right? So, but just to follow the spirit within you over, especially when people are telling you like you can't like do something or that something is bad, because and then but that comes in the right up next to what I just got done saying about you don't want to find out some of the things like, so gosh, it's such an interesting dynamic. That's why you really have to like get to know the spirit for yourself, because there comes a point in the walk where you realize you can't trust, like you could take a poll from like many people and see if there's a majority, but that doesn't even necessarily mean they're right, because they could all have been raised in the same place and been misled equally, and they don't know. Like, think about Yeshua. Like, he knew stuff that nobody else knew, and it made him, well, they murked him for it. So yeah, but it was effective the whole time he was there. He bailed out so many people. And then look how anyway, we won't get into that, but that's the thing though. Just get to know the spirit for yourself. You've got to. Because there comes a time where you don't know who to trust, and you're going to need to know that heartbeat of truth, that sound, so that you know how to be yourself, how to play it out every day. What role, because like if you're like me, I'm like, I could survive doing many things. I have different talents. I have different hobbies. Like I have a lot of experience in different fields of work. I could probably go apply it, at like any job, and I would probably have a pretty good chance of getting it. Not any job, by the way. Well, I meant in my field. So anyway, but it's like you don't want to just like have a job, you don't want to just do something that you can do. You want to be doing the thing, that's your divine identity, that's your soul's purpose. That was like the reason you came here. So getting to know the spirit for yourself is the one and only way that it'll eventually unfold for you, because that's how you know when to turn here, when to turn there. That's why, by the way, I'm so like irked about the thing, because it's like I feel like I was led into the thing and then it exploded, and that'd be one thing if it's just me, but it's like I have 2 children in the mix. That's them are fighting words, like not only that the man that promised to be here did that, but then also that the God of the universe who promised to be here did that and allowed it to happen. I was like, I've been asking you not to let me go into those kinds of things, so why would you do that? I'm trusting you over me over here. Anyway, and that's where, I hear the response of the other school of thought, where it's like, well, yeah, that's why so many people refer to it as your higher self instead of trying to depend on it and being this like external thing. But anyway, regardless, I'll take full credit for having misstepped. Maybe I was just really hopeful that it was something that it wasn't, and I just allowed myself to believe that, maybe. So I don't know, but the point is, getting to know the spirit of truth is the way that you'll know which doors to go through, when to take the leap, when to, sow, when to not sow. Yeah, it's a good thing.
Thanks for being here, homie. Remember to daydream, and be blessed, be well, be free.